Multiple choice questions are neither easy nor important for your exam. Despite that, we are discussing these questions today, and the reason is some of you might be struggling with your reading score, and in such cases, every point you can get from any question becomes important. In this video, I'm going to show you some new tips and tricks which may help you to answer multiple choice question, single right answer in the reading section of PTA Academic. So let's get started. So we are going to answer this question using some new tips and tricks to answer multiple choice questions. So how do we do this? Anytime you're answering multiple choice questions, always start from the question side, not from the passage side. In the question side, you will find two things. The question, which we also call stem of the question, and options. First, read the question. Here, the question says, why was the fall in the crime rate particularly surprising? Once you complete reading the question, think about two things. What is the topic of this question, and what is the focus of this question? After reading the question, perhaps you can see that the passage is most likely about the fall in the crime rate. And the question is why it is surprising. So I need to find out why the drop in the crime rate is surprising. So how do I do that? I have two options. First, I can go to the passage first, read the passage, and come back to the option. Or I can read all the options first, then go to the passage, read the information, and come back to the options again. In this type of question, I prefer to go to the passage first before reading the options. Now I said in these types of questions. What I mean by that is we have two different types of multiple choice questions in the exam. In one type of multiple choice question, after reading the question, you will know what you are looking for in the passage. And this is the example of that kind of question. In the second type of multiple choice question, when you read the question, you will find out that the question is actually asking you the theme of the passage. What that means is the information will be anywhere in the passage, not just in one sentence or one specific place of the passage. In such kind of questions, I prefer to read the options first, then only I go to the passage. But we are not talking about that kind of question in this video. So let's answer this question using our own tips and tricks. So as per our tricks, what we need to do here is after we read the question and after we have found the topic of the question as well as the focus of the question, we have to find out which part of the paragraph or the passage contains the focus that we are looking for. The focus is also called keywords by some tutors. Whatever you want to call it, it's up to you. I find it easier to call it focus because it helps me to focus on the passage. My focus here is to find out why the drop in the crime rate was surprising. So how do I do that? First, I have to skim. So skim means you have to just go through the passage without reading every sentence. You are only looking for the words which are related to surprise, because that's what the focus is. So you don't read every sentence or every word. You only look for the word surprise or any related word to surprise. And if you do that, here you can see the word startling. Startling means surprising. Now I have seen the same word in the passage which I saw in the question as well, which was my focus in the question. So once you find the focus word or the keyword, you will read the sentence containing that word. And depending on your need, you may need to read a sentence before it and a sentence after it as well. Because sometimes you may not understand just by reading the sentence containing the keyword. In such cases, it is a good idea to read something before it and something after it. In this case, I will read this sentence first, which says the crime drop was startling in several respects. And then after that, they are giving the reason. The reason is it was ubiquitous, which means universal, happening everywhere. And they have actually mentioned that with every category of crime falling in every part of the country. And that is the meaning of ubiquitous, which means happening everywhere. It was persistent with incremental decreases year after year, which means it was continuously happening and happening in a small amount every year. And it was entirely unanticipated. That means they did not know it was going to happen, especially by the very experts who had been predicting the opposite. So they have given 3 reasons here. First, it was happening everywhere. Second, it was happening continuously and in a small amount every year. And third, it was not something they had anticipated or guessed. Now you have these 3 pieces of information. What you do is you come back to the question and you compare the information with all the options there. The first option says it was interspersed with 6 years of steeply rising rates of crime. Nothing like this was mentioned in the part where we found our focus word, so we can eliminate this one. It occurred despite fewer people expressing an interest in crime and justice policies. Again, from the part where we started reading, nothing like this has been mentioned. And although we did not read the first sentence, in the first sentence and second sentence of the paragraph, we can actually see that there are many people interested in crime and justice policies. That's why this sentence is also wrong. And third is, it had been predicted by the US President Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton actually had said something different. Similarly, learned forecasters laid out the same horrible future as did President Clinton. That means Clinton had actually predicted that the crime rate was going to increase. So that is also wrong. So these 3 options are wrong, means the fourth one has to be the correct answer. This method of finding the answer by crossing out the wrong answer is called elimination method. It's quite effective, but quite time consuming as well. So if you plan to use this method in the exam, then you have to be really, really quick. Otherwise, you'll be spending too much time on multiple choice question, which will not be wise. So as I said in the beginning as well, this is not the very important question. But of course, for people who are struggling with reading, it can be important to get every possible points. That's the reason we are discussing this in detail. The last one is saying it occurred in all criminal categories and persisted for a number of years. All categories persisted for a number of years. This is exactly what we read back in the passage, because in the passage we read that it was ubiquitous, which means universal, and persistent with incremental decreases means it persisted for a number of years as well. So you can see that the option which contains the correct answer or the correct option is paraphrasing the correct information from the passage. This is another thing to keep in mind. Most often, the correct option will be paraphrased information from the passage. And this is how you answer multiple choice question. So that's how you do multiple choice questions. Now, there are 2 things I want to tell you. First, if you still have any questions, please write in the comments. I personally read all the comments and I will answer your questions as well. Second, if you don't want to miss any videos in the future, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so and hit the bell icon. But if you want to watch more tutorial videos, want to practice the questions, want me to give you feedback on your performance, watch my live classes, in that case, head into our website, romanptmelbourne.com.au and join our online course for completely free. In our class, teach many tips and tricks about all 20 question types of PT, and on our website you can watch more than 200 videos about different question types of PT as well as about different tips and tricks which can help anyone to get their desired score. I'll soon be coming up with another video. Until then, stay safe and see you soon.